All right, all right, all right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to North Sports Dynasty, Season 4, Episode 7, Week 2 now of the fantasy football season. And we are your hosts to give you the best fantasy football knowledge and information and updates that we possibly can here the day before we all go live to win our fantasy leagues. I am one half, Andrew Faubert. The great beard itself, the red wonder, whatever people like to call me. I don't know. I got many nicknames on a few of these different places. Speaking of people with many different nicknames as well. I did it right on the first time.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so the many named man here as well. My other half, the better half, the guy who doesn't yell as much until you see some of the crap I send him where I'm like, yeah, Michigan State, I love it. And he's like, I'll stab you, dude. I'll literally stab you. Yeah, he loves me.
Although, the one thing I will say about Michigan State is your De'Aaron King prediction there isn't looking so hot anymore.
Oh, I didn't check it. Oh, no.
Michigan State beat them today, like 28-14, 38-14, something like that. Meanwhile, Michigan won 63-10 today.
Oh!
8 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, it was a very fun game to watch.
So to everybody who's probably like, Andrew, shouldn't you know all this? Yeah, I probably should. But the problem is I was at work all day. This is the reason why we're doing this a little bit later. And I do apologize, everybody. Obviously, we like to have this show up and running at about noon our time, 2 o'clock your guys' time. But when I got to go to work, I got to make the moolah. But we are here now giving you guys the fantasy updates that you will need across the board, starting with how it goes down in week 2. But first, there's a lot of other stuff that goes around in the leagues, like some news and some information that we were going to want to give you guys right off the bat. So Alex Loosemore, please kick us off and give everybody the news.
All right. So I'm going to do this a little differently this week. I'm going to start with the NHL. The only real news I found out of the NHL is Zdeno Chara is playing one more year. He signed with the New York Islanders earlier today. Just a one-year deal. Gives them a depth defensive piece. More for leadership, I would say. We'll move to the NBA, where Aaron Gordon and the Nuggets agreed on a 4-year extension worth over $90 million. It's a player that's worth that kind of money, but at the same time, it's going to be hard for them to build a roster when you've got 3 players taking up so much money in Murray, Jokic, and now Gordon. And finally, with the NBA, John Wall and the Houston Rockets are working on a trade to get Wall somewhere else. Houston's going into that full-blown rebuild, and having somebody of John Wall's caliber doesn't help that. So trade him away to a contender or somewhere, get some pieces back, and start building this thing from the ground up.
Agreed.
And we'll move into the NFL, where the majority of the news is Josh Sweat signed a 3-year, $40 million contract extension with the Philadelphia Eagles. Good money for a good young pass rusher. I like the deal. Maybe a little too much money, but
a little bit, in my opinion, but yeah.
I think he could work his way into that contract fairly easily. Ronnie Harrison was fined $12,128 for his altercation with the Chiefs running back coach in Sunday's game, where he was ejected. No fine or any penalty has gone towards the Chiefs or that coach, although they said if he gets into any more altercations, that punishment will be coming. I think that's a little unfair, seeing as, the coach started it.
Yeah, I agree.
The coach should be fined the matching amount to Harrison, in my opinion.
Yep.
The Saints are planning to return back to New Orleans after the Patriots game next Sunday. They've been doing all their practices and everything in Texas because of the hurricane, hoping to be back fairly soon. The Colts are to be featured on the first in-season version of Hard Knocks starting November 17th. It will go every Wednesday as long as the Colts are still playing. Tom Brady was asked about play into 50. I guess there was some sort of little joking thing between him and Gronk or whatever.
That was awesome.
And then people asked him about it, and he's like, yeah, I think I could play till 50. So, I mean, I'm not going to question how long Brady can play because I thought he was going to be done like 5 years ago, and here we are. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long he plays and if he remains on the Bucs for that entire time, if he keeps going, or if he goes somewhere else.
He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, New England said the same thing for 20 years. So
yeah, okay.
And then we'll get into some injury news here. Raiders running back Josh Jacobs won't play versus the Steelers. The Packers have placed pass rusher Zadarius Smith on IR. He's had a back injury that he got earlier. I believe it was in training camp. They're just giving him a couple more weeks to get ready, so he won't be available versus the Lions on Monday. Thank God. Dolphins wide receiver Will Fuller served the last game of a 6-game suspension last week. He will not be playing this week for personal reasons, so he's out versus the Bills. Ryan Fitzpatrick is out 8 weeks with a hip subluxation.
You got what you wanted, Steven. Good job. Good job. You kept talking it up, and then finally we just had to put the Fitzmagic out right off the bat. Thanks, Steven. I blame you.
Heineke played fairly well.
Yeah, he did.
His replacement, DeMarcus Lawrence, is going to be out about 2 months with a fractured foot, underwent surgery. Raheem Mostert underwent season-ending knee surgery after the game against the Lions. He, at first, it was reported he was going to be out 8 weeks.
Did you just say Raheem Mostert is out how long? How long? Sorry.
For the season.
For the season. With a what injury?
Knee.
So you mean to tell me that the Lions are biting kneecaps and getting people?
No,
all right. That's what I like to hear. Okay. All right. Sorry. Continue.
And then just the last piece of news is Odell Beckham Jr. with that ACL tear, still recovering from it. They came out early this week and said he's out for the week, so maybe expect him back next week, but who really knows?
Yeah, it's really hard. A lot of us have not really figured what the heck is going to happen with Odell. There's a reason why in a lot of leagues people have tried to just trade him away, hoping that the name is still significant. And I can tell you guys right now, it should not be holding any significance to you this year whatsoever. So.
No.
This has been the update of the news from my co-host, Alex Loosemore. Now we're going to get into the second half of the news, which is just some injuries, some more injuries here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of injuries. This is the beginning of the season as well. So we are going to talk about some of the injuries and the fantasy relevance that it has. So some of the players that you're going to want to take, some of the players that you're going to want to avoid. We have our top 3 sleepers, starters, and slumps that we're going to get to later on. But we're going to go through all these injuries and talk about them respectively. Start us off, Alex.
Sorry, with what? With the injuries?
With the injuries, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll start off with the Lions one. Wide receiver Tyrell Williams took a hit to the head last Sunday against the 49ers. Is in concussion protocol. He will not be playing this Monday versus the Packers.
Is that it for the Lions?
I believe so. I know there was a lot of question marks surrounding like Swift, Jamal Williams, Okwara, all those guys, but they've all been cleared to play. Okay. Kevin Strong, defensive tackle. He's a rotational D tackle. He's also out. Those are the 2 that are out for the Lions this week.
Okay. So for the fantasy relevance here, the Williams one being out, I think he was the number 2 look, 2-3.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking that Detroit is going to put up any type of fight with Green Bay, you might want to go grab Amon St. Brown. But also
another look would be Khalif Raymond.
Oh, that's right.
He's been their returner, more of like a speed threat. Yeah. He was signed to be strictly the returner, and he's worked his way into the receiver rotation. So
perfect. All right. So look for those names from us. We're going to give you what's the name?
Khalif Raymond.
Khalif Raymond. So we're going to give you Khalif Raymond as one of them, and also keep an eye on Mon St. Brown if he can have his little game that we want him to. At least Alex does.
Also, Quintez Cephas could be another one.
That's right, Cephas.
It's all these young guys that are just kind of waiting for their turn here.
Yeah. So anytime there's an injury, just go down the list, grab the one. If someone's playing good, they might hop up too. That's just what you're going to have to be playing when you're grabbing Detroit players this year. One thing here I did see in the comment section, Barry Gould says the Bunting injury has me most concerned. So here's the thing. In fantasy, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, it's going to be hit and miss anyway. Some games will get you 22. Some of them will get you like -2. That's just the way it's going to go. In regards to just as a whole, Alex's headphones are out. It's all good. It's the injury to the Buccaneers secondary as a whole. I have been said on a few shows, I would rather the Buccaneers have to use their own players in-house than to go sign somebody. If we start getting more injuries or they do not play to the caliber that they should be playing, then yes, maybe go make that trade. But don't do that right off the bat. You just might be giving up prospects or picks that we don't necessarily need to. So I know where you're coming from, but like that. So, all right. Let me get a couple other ones out of the way here first. Robert Lane, let's go. Headed to Tampa from Pensacola. Right now for the Bucs game tomorrow. Got surprised with tickets. Let's go Bucs. Hells yeah, buddy. Good job. Harry says, my boys from north of the border, greetings. Greetings to you, Mr. Harry Bird. Bucs Skull Gang in the house says, go Bucs.
That's an awesome name.
I know, right? That's an awesome little, I like that memorial too.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then 2 weeks in, what are your impressions of Saquon Barkley? I dropped the flipping pen. Back! And your expectations for the
so
next
early
week.
Too.
I know. You could have gotten value if you had started him. I actually took him out because I do like the question marks that were around him, and I did not like the fact that it was raining. So I didn't think he was going to get as many carries as he did, I didn't think he was actually going to put up as many points as he did. So right now, going into next week, as long as it's not snowing somewhere, I would start him and see what you get first. I'm going to need another week after, obviously, week 2 is done. Give me till week 3, and then we can give you a full consideration breakdown of what Saquon Barkley can be, because the tape is really hard right now.
Yeah.
Christopher Cole, thank you for tuning in. Since FSU is getting smoked by Wake. Is that Wake Forest?
Wake Forest.
What? What?
Wow.
What? Oh my! Wasn't there just a show talking about how amazing Florida State University was? Oh man, this is why this is Gator Nation, ladies and gentlemen.
And I mean, your Gators are showing up against Alabama. It is a very good game. 28-23, late in the third quarter. Gators just scored.
That's right. Because we awesome. Anyway, David Mocher also says, don't know if it's true or not, but there is a report that 10 to 50% of the NHL players have fake vaccination cards. What do you think that will do to the league? I saw a thing shared about it, but like most things that are shared, I until it actually comes out from a – oh, wow.
Yeah.
Until it actually comes out like from, say, the NFL itself, then I'm not going to hold too much truth into the matter. So. And then he also says, I would tell every coach at FSU to find their own way home and start looking for new coaches now. I heard Florida's got a pretty good coach. Just saying. God, this mic is spicy and hot tonight. Go Gators! Anyways, give me some more injuries here. Let's talk some more fantasy football.
I'm just trying to think here. So Curtis Samuel still on short-term IR.
What?
Yeah. Expected back in a couple weeks.
Okay. Is there any more on Washington? At least for, say, offense or the defense as a whole?
I mean, obviously Fitzpatrick, but like Heineke's still good, Gibson's still good, McLaurin's still good, Logan Thomas is still good. Like they're your main fantasy guys. Otherwise, they're still good there. Even
Diami Brown is showing up. I mean, for a redraft league, I wouldn't invest in him just yet. But if you have Dynasty, I mean, I included him in a trade package for a reason. And I'm not necessarily mad at what I got in return. I did not want to give up that guy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But he is going to bring relevance to that team because, I mean, Scary Terry was pretty flipping scary, yesterday. And I made a dumb mistake, and this is the first time and the first mistake I made this year. I saw the rain, and I got scared, and I said, I'm pulling some of these players. Nope.
I left McLaurin in.
I did not. In one of my leagues, I took McLaurin out, and I took Saquon out. I was not having both of them in because if for some odd reason that game had been a low scoring, a lot of rain, and
then you're kind of screwed.
Exactly. So I said, I'm not playing this game at all. I'm just going to take both of them out, and I think I lost out on almost 40 points. So it is what it is. David also says, the Gators got a team that could be at least the.
I think he means beat at least
the shit teams. But when it comes to good teams, well, you know the record. Well, not.
They're hanging their own, or they're holding their own against the number one team in the country right now.
In the last couple
5-point game going into the fourth quarter.
The Gators have actually come out and played Alabama pretty good the last couple of years. Like Kyle Trask for at least 3 quarters last year was kicking their ass, in my opinion. But they had no defense. The Gators have had no fucking defense for God knows how long, in my honest opinion. But Andrew, there's certain players drafted. That don't fucking matter. They're drafted in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round for a reason. Kadarius Toney got drafted by the Giants, man. There's a reason for that shit. So, with the Curtis Samuel thing, it does look like if Heineke's getting in, that when Samuel comes back, you might still want to look away. If he's on your roster, just keep him there. Don't let anybody else have him. But I wouldn't start playing him until till Heineke actually starts seeing him on the field and what he can do. Right now he's seeing Diami Brown, seeing Logan Thomas, he's seeing Scary Terry. Hell, we just saw J.D. McKissick go off. And people who just took last week I didn't get my my Eli Mitchell or the other running backs that were big into free agency, free waivers there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to go get J.D. McKissick because if I'm in a PPR league, the couple of receptions here is 3 points, and then I have the yardage, and maybe you get 5 points, right? Now people are like, oh my God, I need J.D. McKissick. And I go to any of the leagues that we're in, all gone. It was Baker.
Well, and McKissick pops off for a few games every year. That's just how he is. And it's been consistently for the last 4 or 5 years. Whether he was in Washington, Detroit, I believe was it Seattle before that?
I think so. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's always.
He's consistent. He's there. He's a perfect number 2 to Antonio Gibson. He's basically a skinnier, leaner version of Antonio Gibson. And if you're looking for a rookie or someone really, really young that plays like J.D. McKissick, who is going to be good for you in Dynasty, it's Kenneth Gainwell for the Philadelphia Eagles. He looks basically exactly like him. So what else do you got for games here?
I'm just going to bring up my list of games here. Looking at injuries. Or trying to think of injuries.
Yeah, just trying to think of any of the main injuries throughout the league here.
For a fantasy perspective, Judy's out. So, your receivers against the Jags.
Yeah, your KJ Hamler and Tim Patrick look pretty good this week. I'll give you that.
Yeah. And Courtland Sutton looks better than usual, I would say.
Yep. Now, here's one. I'm gonna take one of my top 3s, and I'll bring it up just because we're talking about the Denver and Jacksonville game here. James Robinson. He disappointed a few people last week, and totally understand why. Bad matchups, and Trevor looks like he's going to try passing it a lot more than anything. Same thing with this week. I think it's going to be a little bit of the same. They might get behind really quick and just start passing the ball. If you have an opportunity to play a different running back in your flex or in your start, I have him in my top 3 slumps for the week. Denver's defense is no joke. And if you're hoping that James Robinson is going to be your bell cow running back for the next couple of games, he's not.
No.
Carlos Hyde actually bursted a lot better than what James Robinson did. So they're going to split the carries. So don't start James Robinson if you have the opportunity to. If you have to keep him in your flex, keep him in your flex, but it may not go well for you this week. So just keep that in mind. What other game do you got here? I'm just going to pull up some of these other games.
I'm just trying to think. So Steelers, Raiders. I mean, we covered. I brought up Josh Jacobs. So I mean.
Oh yeah, that's right. So Josh Jacobs.
That brings up a starter and a sleeper for me in my list of 3.
Okay. Who do you got for starting?
Kenyon Drake for the start and Peyton Barber for the sleeper.
I agree.
Last week, both Raiders running backs got good points. They were both over 10 points. And I think it could be the same thing again, even though it's a tough Steelers defense.
Very much so.
I think Drake especially could get big points this week. I like the speed dynamic with him. I really do. And then Barber to be your goal line, short yardage, your hammer back. I like that pairing this week against the Steelers.
There's a reason why the Buccaneers fan base, I guess you would say, didn't want to give them up last couple of years, and I totally understand. I liked having them here. And people would be like, "Oh, but he got stuffed by good defenses." Totally understand, but there'd be also a couple of games where he'd polish off for some good yards. So, absolutely, there's a reason he got paid, and there's a reason why Ron Rivera wanted him. But then he obviously got some better running backs, and they couldn't keep him. John Gruden has also said that he's supposed to be the lead back going in. If I'm a fantasy owner, that sounds intriguing, but that's like your wife telling you, yeah, sure, go hang out with your friends. Yeah. Like, it sounds awesome, but why'd you say it with the tone? Like,
there's a little trap hidden under there.
There's definitely a trap. Let's go talk about the Niners and Eagles matchup here. For offense, I know Kyle Shanahan brought up Brandon Ayuk earning his role back and how he's going to see more looks. All this talk in fantasy just scares. It should just scare owners. Just stick to what you know. Stick to like the 100% of what you know. And then when you have to take and put players into positions where you don't necessarily know, that's where you take chances on this. Brandon Ayuk is going to have good games this season. But if Deebo Samuel is doing that, I don't see how he's going to have that many good games.
Especially still having Kittle, and if Elijah Mitchell's putting up the points that he consistently does, it's going to be tough for Ayuk to get those points.
Now, not only that, a lot of people are going to probably bring up this question to us because we do have people who watch this after and then bring up questions to us. Is it Trey Sermon or Eli Mitchell this year or this week? And if you have to make a choice this week, I would take Eli Mitchell because that seems to be what's going to happen. But if you have the choice to not put any of them in, I would go with that. I don't want to run both of them necessarily because Sermon might get 5 carries and only 8 yards and maybe 1 pass thrown to him, and the rest might go to Eli Mitchell, and then it can go the other way. So, you got to remember that football teams don't necessarily adhere to us; they adhere to what wins them games. And if their game plan is okay, we're going to throw it to Ayuk and let Trey Sermon run it this year or this week, then a lot of people are really screwed in fantasy. Then, to be honest.
Well, and see, when you've got these situations like the Niners and the Bucs and the Chiefs and these teams with a lot of offensive weapons, they're not saying, "Hey, let's target this guy, let's target that guy." It's you're feeding the hot hand. It's whoever's running the ball best. It's whoever's getting open and catching the ball the most. You're not aiming for specific players. It's who's getting themselves in position to get those touches. So week to week with these offensive powerhouses, it could change.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Jalen Hurts is going to bring you guys some fantasy points, though. I think, even though it's
I don't know this week.
It's a hard defense, but his running ability might be the added bonus. Kind of the reason I brought up Kyler Murray in the offseason. I said he's a half running back added to his own points. I think Jalen Hurts is going to add that too. I think he's just going to run for like 70. I say 74 yards.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's really the only thing that the Eagles are going to do. I wouldn't play Devontae Smith or Jalen Reagor if I was either. Texans and Browns. One of my starters is on here for sure.
Oddly enough, all three of my bench are on here.
Oh, really?
I kind of took a cop out. My bench is the Houston running backs.
Nice. Okay, so now that I look at it, I actually have two. So Alex has brought up the running backs for the Texans. There's three of them. All three of them have technically brought fantasy relevance last week, but you're not going to get that every single week, and you're definitely
not against the Browns.
Not against the Browns defense. He has said all three as his slumps for the week. All for that. I got one of them on there too, for sure. Phillip Lindsay. Do not play Phillip Lindsay. Mark Ingram is getting those carries. Phillip Lindsay might get you a touchdown like he did last week, and he might catch a couple of passes. But you don't want to take the chance. They might even use him like the 26 times this week and use Mark Ingram 5. We don't know. That's the problem with Houston right now. So if you're a team if you're rebuilding and you just got to throw players in there, I mean, fuck it. Try Phillip Lindsay and you got him. Or if you have Phillip Lindsay and you got to throw him in there, fucking sure. But I wouldn't. The one person that if you do have, though, play him this week and play him hard. Play Nick Chubb against that Houston defense.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, my God. Play him again and play him again. Because they're just going to run. They're literally going to show Houston what it's like to be playing a actual team. And if I'm Cleveland, don't let up, man. Go to 46 points before the fourth quarter and just keep running the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Honestly, as a fan,
what my Wolverines did today. It was 35-3 right before the half, and they called their last time out to get a punt, and it was just like 87-yard touchdown pass. Do that, Cleveland.
Yeah, no, honestly, do that because as a fan from the outside looking in, fuck Houston. Fuck the Texans. Fuck the organization. Fuck the coaches. Fuck them all. I want them all out. I want that whole coaching staff and GM and your whole hallelujah and all that kind of shit. Just get it out. Okay.
I don't know that Collie needs to go.
Collie needs to go. Fuck Collie.
I mean, I didn't think he deserved the job to begin with, but I don't think he's done anything to be like, okay, yeah, get him out of here.
Fuck him. I don't care. He's cleaned the whole damn organization.
They're wanted out.
I want them embarrassed by the Browns. I want the Texans to be literally the next Browns team. Like when Colin Cowherd goes on a Monday and he goes to talk shit about Baker Mayfield, I want him to start talking shit about Tyrod Taylor and the Houston Texans. I'm tired of these damn teams. I'm tired of them. But yeah, so yeah, if you got Nick Chubb, play Nick Chubb and play him again and play him again and play him again. Yeah. Let's go to the Saints and the Panthers here. Not necessarily too much to talk about. It's a division game. Division games always scare me, but they usually do rack up yardage. Not necessarily points, but yardage. I would play Robbie Anderson just because I believe the starting corner for the Aints isn't playing.
Lattimore?
Lattimore, I believe, is not playing.
And I mean, I think personally, even if he was, he'd be on DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson's getting the second corner. So
I would play Robbie Anderson if you have the opportunity. What's up?
It was just about touchdown Alabama, but he went out of bounds. Still 28-23, 10 minutes left. 3rd and goal on the 2-yard line.
Whoa. For me?
No, for Bama.
Fuck you, Nick Saban. Okay.
Gators defense is holding up, though.
Fuck yeah, we are. Let's talk about the Rams and the Colts here for a little bit. Also, not one with anything too crazy to talk about.
I do have a start in here, actually.
Oh, you do? What do you got?
I probably should have put him as a sleeper, but I'm going Zach Pascal. The slot receiver for the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
I think over the middle, like obviously, stay away from throwing at Ramsey, and David Long's playing really well as your other corner. But if you could attack the middle with Zach Pascal, I think you can get some good yardage there. Especially watching the Rams last weekend and the last few years, their defense has been really like backed off. They let you get the yards, let you collect them in bunches. So I think Zach Pascal could get you some decent points this week.
I agree, because I think Pittman and another one of the wide receivers is a little banged up as well. So look to them to probably get Pascal going as well. I like that too, yeah. Great defensive game. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes under like 42 points and there's more running backs. If you have to run Jonathan Taylor and Darrell Henderson, you're just going to have to fucking deal with it. It's not the greatest matchup. It is what it is. Now, Bills and Dolphins, I almost put on my slumps Stephon Diggs, but only because of the corners. Even that being said, this is a division game. Julio
this is going to be – if I had to call a game, this is the game of the week.
Yeah, I'm saying that too. Or the what was the other one I saw that looks really good? The Chiefs and the Ravens might be a fucking hell of a game too.
Yeah. Especially if the Ravens had all their players healthy.
I know. The Bills, Stephon Diggs there. I do think Stephon Diggs will have a great game, even despite them having like two of the best corners in the league. I think they have enough where they're going to use Gabriel Davis and Cole Beasley and all those other guys, Emmanuel Sanders, in different areas, and they might actually get Stephon Diggs a lot more open. So I would look for that. Don't really have any.
One of those injury things to watch, Gabriel Davis is listed as questionable.
So then, yeah, play Mr. Novak's there with Cole Beasley. Emmanuel Sanders will probably bring you some value. If any of those guys get banged up, I think the next one in line is Isaiah McKenzie or something like that.
I believe so.
Yeah. So if any of those guys end up becoming questionable as well, if you can grab one of those wide receivers and use them for a week, it's probably the best thing to do. Next one, same division. Patriots and Jets are playing. Nothing.
I have a starter and a sleeper.
Oh, what do you got?
And I forgot I have a sleeper for the last game, the Dolphins-Bills game. I think Gesicki. Gesicki is one of those where I think a lot of people are going to sit him. I disagree. I would say play him, especially Will Fuller being out. The corners in Buffalo being so good. Like I said with the Colts-Rams game, I think you could attack them down the middle with Gesicki. Yeah,
because Devontae Parker, as much as I want to put him as a starter for the week, he is going to have one of those really good corners like Tre'Davious White or something like that on him. So, I agree with that. Gesicki is probably going to see, because last week he did not eat at all.
No, but that's against a really good Patriots defense with really good linebackers.
Fuck, yeah, they do.
Bills have a really good defense, but the linebackers are iffy. So,
speaking of the Patriots, who is your starter or sleeper for this game?
So my starter is Damian Harris, running back. Yeah. I think with that offensive line, Damian Harris could eat this week and get a lot of points.
That's a good one.
And especially the rookie quarterback helps him out if he can run the ball. And my sleeper pick, I don't know if this should really count as a sleeper pick, but I went this way anyways, Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, yeah. I picked him up in a few leagues there because he's been overlooked. And I'm like, man, did you guys not see what he did with the Raiders last year too? Like, damn.
Yeah, if he can consistently catch the ball, he's going to be a good receiver for the Patriots.
Fuck yeah, he is. Bengals and Bears. I have one sleeper in this game.
Okay.
Good old tight end for the Bears, Cole Kmet.
I like that.
Starting to see some of the targets. They're starting to be like, all right, if we can't have Jimmy Graham, because I believe he is also banged up and out for the week, we might as well go to the next best thing. And he's looking like he's going to be the next best thing here. So I got Cole Kmet. The other one on this here, if I would go with obviously starting more of the wide receivers on the Bengals than Joe Mixon. But Joe Mixon is your number one running back that you drafted. You're going to have to just try and utilize him unless you got a couple of guys on your bench because the Bears defense is the real deal here.
Now, I think you could still get value out of Mixon in the passing game.
Yeah, if you are in a PPR league, he's probably going to be your safety blanket there. So, yeah, that's a very good point. Bucks and Falcons. I think – did I smell a Falcon fan in our comment section there? That's right.
Yeah.
Kyle's here. Look at these fuckers. That's what the Bucks are saying to the team that's flying into our fucking stadium. I would love to caress your beard with a midday drink in hand. Man, I love doing it too. Like, oh, see, I almost had that like literally locked in my beard. That would have sucked. Bucks and Falcons here. I'm not gonna lie. I know Bucks Report is basically calling it a clean sweep on this one. I do think the Bucks are going to win, and I don't necessarily think they're going to win handsomely, but I do think they're going to win. Surprise, surprise, though. If you have an opportunity to grab him, grab Mike Davis. I have a weird suspicion that he is going to do a lot better this week than he did last week. But he's not a sleeper of mine. He's just one that I was thinking of.
That's just one to watch, yeah.
Other than that, Sean Murphy-Bunting is gone, but Julio Jones does not exist as a Falcon anymore, so we can have literally one corner and still win this game. I don't know if you have anything to say about it.
At first, I was going to be like, don't start any Falcons, and then you brought up Mike Davis, and I was like, yeah, maybe.
Mike Davis.
I don't trust that offensive line. It was terrible last week. Like everyone talks about how bad the Bengals offensive line is, the Falcons might have been worse last week.
Yeah. Falcons need help.
And need it bad.
Very bad.
Like, I don't know.
How did that team get to the Super Bowl?
Man, I don't know.
Fuck.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kyle, but I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, Kyle, but sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Now we got Vikings and Cardinals. I got one sleeper on this game.
Ooh, okay.
Christian Kirk.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Because I know a lot of people have talked about the Minnesota defense, and they are going to get better. The way that this defense is assembled, I guess you would say, is it's assembled to win against teams like them. So, like, say your Packers or your Titans, I would even say maybe your Seahawks, the Lions, just to throw them in there, like your Patriots, your Colts, maybe the Browns, the Bengals, technically.
I think the Browns will slaughter them later this year, personally.
I think it'd be a little bit closer, but I could see it being an onslaught.
There's no secondary in Minnesota. Outside of Harrison Smith, there is no secondary.
Yeah, but
I feel so bad for Harrison Smith because dude can ball, but
I know.
Oh my God.
Just let him just come down people's necks, man. Just like, Christian Kirk, they don't have anybody, but if they have anybody that goes up against D-Hop and can cover him pretty well, then they're going to have to look to the next best thing, which is more than likely to be Christian Kirk. Don't be surprised if they start going the Rondale Moore and the A.J. Green route. But those are the only ones I could really think of on this one. Same with KJ Osborne would probably be a good one, just because the secondary is probably going to be looking at Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson a little bit more. So KJ Osborne might see some looks.
Yeah, and I think Kyler, obviously.
Yeah, fucking Kyler's going to eat against that defense.
I mean, unless Daniil Hunter just like eats their tackles alive and has a game like Chandler Jones did last week.
Yep.
I don't see Minnesota's defense doing much of anything against Arizona's offense.
Yeah, guess who's not on my bench anymore? I'm just going to win that whole league.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not off to a good start in that league, but we'll see.
Also got the Titans and Seahawks game. This game, on a betting wise, is one that Harry the Greek has been looking at very attentively. So when I went on his show, I said that my lock would be locking the Titans, which you can get you could get at 5.5 to be plus 5.5 against the Seahawks. He said that would be his lock if it wasn't for COVID. So we got to see what's going on there with the Titans with the whole COVID situation. If there is something going on. Not obviously 100% sure, but we are taking a look at it. And if that be the case, that's going to be one hell of a game and one good hell of a bet. So shout out to Harry the Greek. He is at, I got it right here, as fast as I thought. No, I don't have it on this one. I screwed up. It's on the other one, which, hold on, can I go? Oh, yeah, I'm going to go here quick. Aha, I can do that. There you go. Where is it? Now I lost it. What? There we go. Over and under with Harry the Greek, Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. He's got all your over and under needs that you are going to want.
Mm-hmm.
We have some too. I didn't put any out today just because I got home way too late. And the Giants screwed me. I took the Giants.
Man, that was a good game, though.
It was a great game. I had two different bets. I took the Giants at 3.5 during the week. I was like, that's going to be my lock for the Thursday night game. But then when the game was about to start, because of the rain, and then hearing the whole Daniel Jones has never lost to Washington, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to put $30 on it too. Or no, sorry. No, I put more than that. Sorry, it was a different bet that I put the 30 on. I put the 30 on the Giants at 3.5. I think I dropped like $70, I think, 70 or $80 on the Giants to win.
Ouch.
Plus 175. But listen, I've had some bad losses. That one was not as bad as some of the other ones. I've had a couple of good ones in the last couple of weeks here. Like a $5 bet, all of a sudden pay me out like $84.57. I'm like, huh!
I had one of those 3-team parlays last week, and I hit on 2 of the 3. I just needed the Colts to beat Seattle, and if they had a $5 bet, won me $110 or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Props to Stafford as well. I don't think you're ever going to get the odds that I had of Stafford throwing 3 touchdowns.
That won't happen again. Yeah.
No, but I'm so happy. If I can find it at plus
maybe next week.
Who they play next week?
You guys.
Get the fuck out of here. Who the fuck?
I was like,
I'm removing my co-host. No, I'm just kidding.
I was saying that's where you could find the odds again. I'm not saying it'll happen.
That's true.
I'm saying you can find the odds again.
Actually, I'm not even gonna lie. I think a lot of people at Bucks Report too would probably be like, "Hey, buddy, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is Stafford coming with like a superior team and coaching staff here. Let's settle the fuck down here. He might get you 3. They might not win, but he might get 4. So like,
I got a couple of those like cheap little like mystery package things, the NFL ones.
Yeah.
And I got one Lions one and I got one mystery one. And of course the mystery one happened to be a Ram Stafford jersey.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm not gonna lie though. Like, I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago when the Bucks put up 55, I think, on the Rams. I think that's what it was, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. I think that the Rams will be like, you're not coming to our house and ever doing that. We're like, we remember. But Brady is also not the type of person to just sit there and allow a team to get more than 40 fucking points on him. So I'm not going to lie. I might actually take Stafford to throw 4 touchdowns against the Bucks. But I'm also going to take Brady to throw 4 fucking touchdowns against the Rams.
And you know what? And I think that game's either extremely low scoring, or it's like that Chiefs-Rams game, the Monday night one from a few years ago, where they're both in the 50s. Like, that game could just blow open, or they could both fall apart.
I want a game that –
I want it too.
I want one game where we all think and I'm just looking at, say, like perfect. The Patriots and the Jets, okay? All of us would be thinking, maybe like a 24-27 final. I want that. That would be a fun game if it was like you told me the Jets put up like 54 points and the Pats had like 48 or something like that. And Zach Wilson like 396, 6 total touchdowns. He runs for 2, throws for 4. I'd be like, fuck yeah, man. I want to watch
Mac Jones
that.
is like right there with them. And
Mac Jones throws 5. Like just throws 5 and he's got like 460 yards and he runs for like a good 40 or 52. Like just the complete opposite of what everyone would think too. And I love those games.
Yeah, me too.
Or any game, and fuck you, Minnesota, for building a dome or basically putting a roof over your thing. I get it. It's cold, but still, fuck you. Props to Buffalo, because any single time I see snow in the forecast for a Buffalo home game, you can bet your ass I'm watching that fucking game.
Oh, yeah.
Every time. Even if the Bucks, like back in the day when the Bucks weren't doing as good, and I had the option, I was like, hey, if there's snow in a Buffalo game, I'm watching the Buffalo game every time.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Okay, so the other game I wanted to get, a couple more games here to get to.
The last of like the Sunday afternoon is Chargers-Cowboys.
I was going to say Titans and Seahawks as well.
Oh, yeah, I guess we didn't
Yeah.
fully get into that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Titans and Seahawks, the only other...
Oh, I got a quick update on your Gators.
Uh-oh.
They just scored a touchdown. Alabama's kicked a field goal since then. That goal line stand ended in a field goal.
So is it 31-30?
Well, they literally just ran the touchdown in. So before the point after or 2 point, it's 31-29. 6 minutes left.
Yay!
I'm pretty sure I took Florida to cover the spread, and if I did, I'm so happy I did.
I know I got
the spread was like 15 points.
Yeah, I know I got Florida to cover the spread, y'all. I think I got.
Oh, they're going for 2.
Fuck yeah, they're going for 2.
And
we fail.
No, they didn't get it.
No,
that was a horrible play.
That's okay. We're still within a field goal. I'm fine.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, not 6 minutes. Not 6 minutes at all. 3 minutes.
Well, that changes everything, Alex. Thank you. No, it's okay. Titans versus Seahawks, though. The only one I got in here as my starter. Go start Derrick Henry, motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a reason here. I know Seattle's got a good defense. But Jamal Adams and all type of air support are going to be going on Julio and A.J. Brown. Do you think Julio Jones likes being shoved out in the first game?
Nope.
No, not at all. You know what he's done? I actually looked this up. The last 3 times that Julio Jones has been held under the whatever yards it was there, I think it was under because he had only 35? Give me a second.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm going to go check it literally right now. Give me 2. Can you not do that? Goes to a video. No. Give me 1 second.
And if it was my computer, I'd be counting out right now.
Okay, so 29 yards. So the last 3 times that Julio Jones was shut out the game before, to under 30 yards or whatever, or 35 yards, whatever the stat was, 2 of those games he had 200 yards or 190 yards plus, and 2 of them were on the Bucs, and 1 was on a different team.
Okay.
So last week he had 29 yards. Yeah, I'll start with Julio if I had him.
Well, and those Seahawks corners are terrible. Again.
Also, Alex Collins, the running back on Seattle. I wanted to remember his name before I forgot it. So Rashad Penny is out. So if something were to happen to Carson, because he is still also banged up, he is an injury-prone running back.
Mm-hmm. And also has fumble issues.
Exactly. Grab Alex Collins now if you can. Don't start him. Just grab him now.
Yeah.
We got 2 more games to cover left. And I got my last 2 in the next game, which is the Chargers and Cowboys. I got 1 sleep and 1 slump.
Okay. Who you got?
So my slump here is Zeke Elliott, and I don't want to because it's hard to suggest a running back not doing very good fantasy-wise on arguably the number 1 offense in the league. That sentence that I just said does not exist in fantasy football usually.
Yeah.
The year I'm trying to think of not Antonio Gates, the running back, LaDainian
Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson. The year that he led when they had the great offense, right? He was fantasy relevant. Even back in the day of the St. Louis Rams, even going to when fantasy football still existed. Okay. These great offenses had value at the running back position. Philip Lindsay was fucking Peyton Manning's safety blanket there for a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why he is as relevant that he is right now. I'm trying to think of some of the other offenses that have been really, really great the last couple of years. Todd Gurley on the Rams.
Devontae Freeman with the Falcons when they
Thank
were
you.
good.
I was actually just trying to think of the Falcons running back. All of them have been relevant. How the fuck Zeke Elliott isn't?
Now, I mean, to work the Zeke Elliott one here, there's one. I mean, he's still young. It was only last year was his rookie year, but a top offense that hasn't had great running back production. The Kansas City Chiefs, CEH.
That's true. Very, very much so. I 100%. And honestly, he still had 1,000 yards. You still give him that. But like for fantasy relevance, it's like, what the fuck, Zeke? And what the fuck, Mike McCarthy? Let this man eat. Like there's certain days where like Amari Cooper and Gallup and Lamb and all those guys don't have to do anything. Give them the ball 30 times. Give Pollard the ball the other 15 times. Dak can run it. Fuck. So I put him as my last slump. And my last sleep is the running back on the Chargers. No, not Austin Eckler. Larry Roundtree.
Good call.
Right? So this guy, when we were doing our preseason predictions on some of these running backs, we knew the top ones, which were going to get drafted, and we said some of these sleepers that would happen. Patterson for Washington was one that got brought up by me and him all the time. Kenneth Gainwell, obviously. I'm still huge into Kenneth Gainwell, which I love, and I love it because somebody else on Twitter like said, you're right, is I said, oh, look at all these people talking about Kenneth Gainwell now and blah, blah, blah. And then someone who from back in the day, it was just like, we all were talking about it, Fulbert. And I'm like, yeah, but you came on a show, one of you, and basically like tore my thing apart. It was like, Kenneth Gainwell looking to do shit, Fulbert. Guy looks pretty fucking good, if you ask me. And I had one guy on Twitter basically go, yeah, I'm pretty sure the first person that said anything about Kenneth Gainwell and his ability and what he could possibly do in the NFL was the fucking ginger guy up in Canada. Thank you. Don't fuck with me. But another guy that me and Alex both brought up at the same time, and it wasn't necessarily like a little blurb. We brought this guy's name up and we're like, wherever he goes, he might bring relevance. It might take him a while to bring relevance. Was Larry Roundtree. Yeah. And then he went to the Chargers, and we were like, now that's the name that you're going to need to be drafted in a dynasty league in the 4th round. Maybe even trading up for the 3rd. Now this guy, all of a sudden, last game, took the backup role away from the backup dude that earned his way up there for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So, and we all know like Austin Eckler's a god. If you did not see him last week, he is an absolute fucking man of a running back. But his way of running and his way of catching the ball is going to get him hurt again. When that happens, Larry Roundtree is going to be the next guy to get the ball, and he's going to get the rock, and that's just the inevitability here. But the reason why he's a sleeper is you got to keep him on your bench right now. Later on in the season, they might have to sit Eckler for a couple of games for load management, being banged up or whatever. Roundtree might get an opportunity and just fucking run with it. He may never give it up again because Eckler's a paid running back as well. And the second that the team's owners and stuff can see that we can replace you with the young guy underneath who's a lot cheaper, they'll do it. Which I said my big offseason thing already is I bet you Zeke either gets cut or traded. He's not going to be a Dallas Cowboy into next season. That's my honest opinion, because when you got Pollard behind you who can do that and he's going to be cheap for the next 2 years, why the fuck wouldn't you?
Well, and Pollard's slowly eating away at Zeke's carries already. They like him a lot.
And if you look at the way he runs, when he goes down, he arches forward for an extra yard or two based off of his knee and his legs not touching the ground because he's on a body of bodies. He's a smart running back. It's like watching DeMarco Murray all over again.
Yeah.
Like it really is. And look what DeMarco Murray did when he left Dallas. He did very good for a season in Tennessee. So
was awful in Philly before that, but
not
in the right system.
Chip
Kelly was not a good coach for DeMarco Murray.
No, he was not.
Wasn't a good coach for a lot of people, but
well, I mean, he should have stayed in Oregon, man. Can you imagine him still being in Oregon and just like winning?
Looks damn good in UCLA right now. They might take the Pac-12.
That he does. You know who doesn't look really good at USC?
Clay Helton.
Urban Meyer. Eric Bieniemy should go to USC and just fucking honestly though, like Eric Bieniemy should go there because with everything that's going on right now, his personality and just who he is may start attracting some real fucking players to actually stay around Los Angeles and be like, no. We can't have this fucking white Chip Kelly dude looking motherfucker start winning with the UCLA. What are they, the Golden Bears? No, what are they?
Bruins.
The Bruins, okay. See, fuck the Bruins, guys. All the way through. Every league, fuck the Bruins. They got to do something there at USC, man. Like, who? I think I was actually talking to my fiance about it. She actually, I can't remember how it got brought up, but she asked about USC, and she's like, hasn't that been a prominent team? I'm like, it's been like Miami University back in the day. It's been like Texas and stuff like that. Some of these teams should just never, in my honest opinion, should never have losing seasons.
Yeah.
Like, this should never happen. Like, USC should never have losing seasons. They should be in the top 10 almost every single year. And I'm not bragging because I'm a Gators fan, but Gators are around the top 20 every single year. Ohio State's around there. Michigan. Like, Texas needs to be up there. Michigan needs to be up there. Like, those
this year looks different. Like, recruiting, gameplay, everything.
It looks better.
We might be back around being in the top 20 every year.
See, and that's what I mean, though. It's like these schools just, and I know this is just me being a stupid Canadian, and I don't necessarily know. I'm gonna actually like bow down to Alex on this. Alex knows more about college football and the processes of college football than I do. That's one of the reasons why I brought him on the show with me when we do the off-season stuff for college football, is because he's been through a little bit more of the process and around people who have done that and know people that are actually, been drafted or are having opportunities to play. I've been looked at, and then I got injured, and then even after that, they were like, this guy's like on crack or something like that. It's like, well, no, but I'm like, I can do it. Like, so like, Alex knows college football. And one of the things that Alex has brought to the show is, if you saw last year, you go back to our mock drafts that we did before the NFL draft. Alex got the most right out of the first round out of anybody. Like, out of a lot of people at Bucks Report, out of a lot of people, even on Twitter, on some of these sites that are making thousands and thousands of dollars putting out these articles and these rankings and who they think and this, that, and everything else. Alex got more right than most of those guys. I was one behind him, but on a scale of what the numbers mean to everybody else, Alex's number means he's like an analyst, like should be on fucking TV with a suit and a tie, and his mom and dad fucking like crying over it, like, we can go back to Detroit. We can all live in Detroit and have season tickets forever because my son lives in the darkness. Me, on the other hand, I'd be the guy, because of my numbers and stuff like that, shining his shoes and giving him a mock draft, being like, you should check out my
No.
And he'd be like,
you were
But no, he brings a lot of good stuff when it comes to college football. So when we talk college football, I usually go towards him for most of the big stuff. And if he says Michigan's a top 20 recruiting team, y'all can go in the comments and tell me otherwise, and I wouldn't fucking believe you.
Well, see, and here's the thing. Michigan's always like top 10 recruiting. It's just we haven't been able to put it together and keep them there. Like, UCLA's best running back was one of our top recruits from last year.
Oh.
Like, and as a Heisman candidate this year, was our third running back last year.
What the
like
fuck?
That just shows the kind of talent. Like, we have the second rated 18-year-old, like, true freshman quarterback from this year's class is our second string quarterback this year. Like, it's we can bring the talent in. We bring a lot of really good talent in. It's just, I mean, we're in the same conference as Ohio State, and they bring them in and keep them, and they whoop our ass every year. So,
what I was gonna say, where do you think Arch Manning's going? Do you think he's gonna go to Michigan?
No, he'll stay in the South. He'll stay in the South.
Okay, so Peyton went to Tennessee. Eli went to
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, sorry. What was his dad?
Arch was. Let me look.
Someone in the comments would be dropping it right away. I want to say Boston College for some fucking reason. That's way off. That can't be right at all.
Manning was Ole Miss as well.
Okay, that makes sense. So then it would probably be like, maybe I guess Arch Manning would probably go to Auburn then.
I've seen the ones that have offered him. You've got Georgia, you've got Alabama, you've got Clemson, you've got, I want to say Texas.
Oh man, please.
Yeah, Ole Miss.
Please?
Tennessee.
What?
Yeah, Tennessee's offered him.
I
I think
cool,
Oklahoma maybe.
I'm not gonna lie. Like my elder years, I guess you would say. I'm like cool. Like into my elder years, I get to watch like the next Manning. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of cool. I only got to see the tail end of Peyton, so it'd be cool to see another one. I kind of like that. But he needs to go to a proper fucking school. And listen, if they can get that, if they can get that boy to Texas, fucking do it.
To me,
cool.
I'm calling my shot right now, and it's still 2 years away because he's in the class of 2023.
You think he's gonna be in Michigan?
No, God no.
Okay.
He won't come to us. I'm thinking either Clemson or Georgia.
Georgia would be cool. It'd be kind of cool to see the Bulldogs have like an elite quarterback that they can finally use again. Because they've had good ones, but they haven't had like elite. But also, like, who has had elite? You know what I mean?
Alabama and Clemson.
Well, how elite have the Alabama quarterbacks been?
I mean, true.
And then same thing with Clemson.
I mean, the last 5 years, that's Tua and Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts. They're all NFL starters.
They're starters doesn't mean they're good starters.
We'll see.
Like, if you think about it, like the top tier quarterbacks in the league right now, where they came from, one is from Wisconsin, which is Russell Wilson.
Best one in the NFL from right here.
Fucking Rice is from Michigan. Aaron Rodgers is from
Cal.
Yep. And then you got, give me a second, I'm just trying to think of a couple.
Roethlisberger's Miami of Ohio.
Okay, fine. With Roethlisberger.
Matt Ryan's Boston College.
Thank you. That's the other. I was like, okay, Matt Ryan's from Boston College.
Derek Carr's Fresno State.
Yeah, so like those are the like I like it when schools like that get the quarterbacks, and Alabama and Clemson and all them. Like you get the Bryce Youngs, you know, and like the other quarterback. What is it getting close?
4th down for Alabama. Clock's running, 35 seconds left. So when the play clock ends, it'll be about 10 seconds left. Florida's out of timeouts, but it's 4th down for Alabama.
And we still down 3 points?
Down 2 points.
Oh.
You're probably gonna have one play.
Hail fucking Mary! It would be really.
You're gonna have to.
It'd be really great if we had Kyle Pitts right now, or Kadarius Toney. That'd be nice.
10 seconds left, 4th down, and they're gonna punch you the ball. So it's not likely.
No,
but we never know.
Hey man, we can have an Auburn moment against Alabama.
I was just gonna say Auburn beat Alabama on a missed field goal attempt.
Yeah, they did. We've also, Michigan State. You know.
Yeah, shut up. you know what?
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually going to get out of here. We're both going to get out of here. We're going to watch some college football.
Yes. Penn State Auburn tonight.
That's
going to be a great game.
Fuck yeah. There's still some good games left. And I can get some good bets still left in tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, our sleepers, my top 3 sleepers starts and slumps. My top 3 sleeps are your Cole Kmet, Larry Roundtree, Christian Kirk. Top 3 starts are Devontae Adams, Nick Chubb, and Derrick Henry. My top 3 slumps, so keep them on your bench because you don't want to drop them just yet, is your James Robinson, Zeke Elliott, and Phillip Lindsay. What do you got, Alex?
So my top 3 sleepers, I got Peyton Barber for the Raiders, Mike Gesicki for the Dolphins, Nelson Aguilar for the Patriots. My starters, Kenyon Drake for the Raiders, Zach Pascal for the Colts, Damian Harris for the Patriots. My 3 bench are your 3 Houston running backs, Phillip Lindsay, David Johnson, and Mark Ingram.
That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back tomorrow night for Live from the Cheap Seats with the after show of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So get ready for some great fun in there. I work till about 3 o'clock. So I will be missing the first hour of the game. I will have my phone turned off at 1:30. Ain't nobody going to text. Well, okay, so like right before kickoff, so I know that there's no injury shit and stuff. But I'm not looking at the game. It's not happening. So my phone will be off at 2 o'clock. Open back up probably about like 3:30, so y'all be able to get a hold of me then. And then the show will be live not right after the game, but pretty shortly after the game tonight or that night at 6:30 p.m. my time, Mountain Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's your time. Alex Loosemore, tell everybody where they can find you.
So you can find me here, obviously, North Sports Dynasty, at Loosemore65 on Twitter, and Thursday nights around 7 to 7:30 our time, 9 to 9:30 Eastern. You can catch me and Johnny Dean on the NFL show. We'll be going over this week's games, looking into next week's games on the weekend, and the Thursday night game we'll be covering will be the Panthers and the Texans.
Fuck yeah, that'll be a dumb game, but we'll be still tuning in for that.
It'll be fun to watch McCaffrey run all over the Texans.
Yeah. See, I'm trying to trade for him, and it's not working. Anyways, have a great night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Any and all questions that you have for Bucks Report or North Sports Dynasty regarding fantasy football can be found and emailed to us anywhere that you see us, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. It don't matter. Send a message. Any questions, drop them in our live. We usually try to get to them the best that we can. But any questions that you got, we'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can. But we will never leave one of you fans without your questions answered. Thank you all again. We'll talk to you next weekend. And we'll see you with our other shows, obviously, before that. But we will be back on Saturday talking to you guys. Oh, wait.
No, we'll be back before I'm on again.
Well, you'll be back on. And I'm at a wedding. I might have to go live at this wedding. This would be awesome.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. I might be so fucked up for that. It's going to be awesome. Love you all. We'll see you next weekend. Talk to you. Take care now. Bye-bye, Ben. And all that fun jazz.